Hey, what's happening, everybody? It's Dwayne with Off Grit. And today I'm going to talk about something a little bit different than I usually talk about. I never talk about this kind of stuff. But I wanted to just touch base on the recent stuff happening with this TikTok ban that they're proposing and just kind of give you my insight on it as far as what I think about it. I will say that I personally think it's bullshit. The reason I think it's bullshit is because bullshit that they're actually going to try to ban it. I think it's unconstitutional in certain ways, and I think that there is definite evidence that Meta and the Facebook, Instagram are behind this lobby. 100%. That I do know. It's in direct competition with their apps, so of course they have a very vested interest in getting rid of it, as well as the fact that TikTok's based in China. So, if we want to talk about China from a homesteading perspective, first thing you might be asking yourself is like, well, what the hell does this have to do with homesteading a lifestyle of self sufficiency? Well, it has a lot to do with it. And the reason it has a lot to do with it is because, let's be real, first of all, I think I read the last statistic is that 70% of our cell phones are made in China. All right? So, by that logic to me, the very devices that you put all these apps on, you have your Wi-Fi on, you have your bank passcodes, you have all your shit on these phones, right? And 70% of them are made in China. I think Apple has like 90% of its operations in China or something like that. I might be wrong on those numbers, so don't quote me directly. I mean, I'm just some dude out in the desert. But by that logic alone, it makes me think, okay, so it's okay to have a Chinese made device that has God only knows what inside it. Like, I have no idea what's inside this phone. Could be hidden microphones, hidden chips, hidden all kinds of stuff, right? That could be sending our information directly to China. But that's okay. But TikTok, where you watch stupid videos and things that are, I mean, let's be real. I mean, TikTok's full of kids and stuff. It's not exactly like top secret government stuff on there. So while I do understand like the logic to some degree, to a certain extent, I get it. Okay, they're in China, so the Chinese government has control over the company that controls it, so therefore they could get information that way. Okay, I can see that. I get it. But like I said, just the fact that we have pretty much, when it comes to homesteading, get back to the homesteading, why this has anything to do with it. All of my stuff that I use on my homestead that's technology based, such as my solar inverters, my batteries, my everything is from China, okay? Bottom line, it's from China. Anybody that thinks they have an American made product that's anything to do with solar I'm sorry, you're misinformed. Even if that American battery that you think is American, it's absolutely 100% not an American battery, okay? All it is an American company that takes the Chinese parts, puts them together, puts their label on it, and now it's an American company. It's just not true. And you're just paying an overpriced price for it. So that's a fact. Our cell phones, the stuff I use to record all these videos, my refrigerator, my microwave, my this, my that, my generators, my everything almost that I use, my water pumps, all of it's made in China. I really don't have much of a choice in the matter, to be honest. I mean, I could buy American a lot of times, but I've tried to go that route before, and then you just look behind the scenes, and all you have to do is lift the hood up, and you go, oh, okay, it's made in China, so all I'm doing is paying an overpriced price for this. Anybody could do that. So I guess with the TikTok thing, where I get back to it, what's frustrating to me is, so on TikTok, for example, I have, I don't know, 8,200 followers. On Instagram, I have like less than 1,000. Facebook, my page, I don't even know what that is. My page maybe 1.7 thousand, but I've been on Facebook the longest. YouTube, I mean, I'm scrapping and scraping to get 2.4 thousand subscribers. But I've been on TikTok for like a tenth of the amount of time that I've been on Facebook, and definitely a quarter of the amount of time I've been on Instagram, and at least a quarter of the time I've been on YouTube. And I have over 8,000 followers. So for that, and I put the exact same content on it. Okay. It's nothing different than I put on these other apps. Okay. All I know is that I've noticed with these other apps, it's very frustrating to guys like me because they definitely are pushing certain content and there's no way around it. You can tell just by the amount of views that your stuff gets. And if I compare those views directly from Instagram to TikTok, it's not even close, and it's just the way the algorithm's set up. It really suppresses people. It's very hard to get yourself out there on places like Instagram because if you've noticed, it's like, man, I could just put content on there every day in, day in, day out, and nothing. The only reason I'm getting followers on Instagram now is because I've done a documentary with Paragraphic, who has a lot more subscribers than me. I've done 2 podcasts now. I'll be doing a third one in a month. So it's all my own work, 100%. No algorithm has pushed anything that I do, especially on YouTube. I mean, you've heard me complain about it before. It's very frustrating for me because, until that algorithm picks you up, you're just fighting against the tide, basically. You will not have a lot of success on these platforms unless you have to be very consistent. There's a lot of rules, and there's a lot of people that would argue with what I'm saying, I'm sure. But a lot of that's because the algorithm picked them up, though. And it's very simple on YouTube. All you have to do is look at the amount of views that your channel gets versus someone else's channel, and you can look at this publicly. And therein lies the answer most of the time. Like if one channel, I've looked at countless homesteading channels that have like, say, 10 times the amount of subscribers I have. Well, guess what? They have 10 times the amount of views that my channel gets. So where that comes from really is just the algorithm. And if the algorithm doesn't push your content, then you're not going to be seen. So the way I do it now is I go public. I get on other people's podcasts. I let a documentary come. I'll probably do another one, and I'm just doing it the old-fashioned way. The get out there and market yourself, because I don't expect or any of these companies to help me. So that's part of being self-sufficient. So what this has to do with homesteading, lifestyle self-sufficiency, is just for you to understand that I know most of you probably know this, but as much as we want to take credit for what we're doing, being self-sufficient, let's be honest. If I didn't have all these Chinese-made parts in my inverters and all this stuff, my phone, that I get all my information to do the homesteading in the first place, like looking at videos, watching and learning on YouTube University, where would I be? I would be probably not doing this, okay? So that's why it applies to what we're doing here. And that's why sometimes, I got to get it on here sometimes and just say how I feel about it. I mean, that's just the truth. Like, that's how I feel. I feel that this is a political parade and it's a political dance that they're doing. And I don't think that TikTok, in my personal opinion, from some dude in the desert homesteading, I doubt that it has any more of an effect on our national security than these other 2 apps, Instagram and Facebook, which are one and the same. It's 100% a lobbying thing, and I personally think that TikTok, should stay. I don't think they have a right to do it. I think that it's interesting how we can pick and choose things that are, like I said, parts of my cell phone, almost my whole damn cell phone, all of my cell phones that I've ever gotten have been made in China. They could put God knows what in these things, but they're okay. Okay, but an app, that we share videos on, that's public, that everybody can see, all of a sudden that's a security risk? I don't know about that. I mean, I'm sure there's an argument for it, but I'm really suspect of that. I think the Chinese government has plenty of other ways that they can infiltrate us, and they've already done it. So anyways, that's my 2 cents. I'm going to get back to what it is that I do, and I'm going to share this little video clip from TikTok just to show you guys a different perspective on it. Of course, this guy has a vested interest because he gets his revenue from TikTok, but he does make some valid points. So here you go.
Upcoming TikTok ban. I'm a Seattle area news camera guy. I film overnight and sell it to local and national news every day. But I also get paid to share on here what the mainstream media skips or doesn't have time for. And I get paid a lot, more than many of the other influencers we all know and love on this platform. I'll tell you how much shortly and why. Television news can't run it all, skipping murders, violent crime sprees, and other types of incidents that leave behind victims and lives lost, whose stories would otherwise never be told to a large audience. I tell those stories here. And TikTok started to realize creators like myself with longer, more informative content are a big part of the platform's future as they turn more into a search engine and information sharing space like YouTube. Facebook and Instagram have seen this coming, and in turn they've started lobbying the government against TikTok. This week they had a huge win in that fight, lobbying the government to create a new set of laws so President Biden can shut TikTok off in the U.S. without being challenged by the legal system in court. Not that long ago, President Trump also banned TikTok, but he was challenged in court and lost. Now, any sitting president can do this without any legal challenge. Recently, Meta announced they will stop paying creators for the Reels platform they created to compete with TikTok. Meta is deciding to keep the revenue instead of doing what TikTok does, paying the creators that the viewers decide are creating the best content. This shows that they're realizing they're not going to have any significant competition again. Creators like myself were approached by TikTok earlier this year to participate in a newer, longer format creator fund. They wanted more in-depth, informative, engaging content. A viewer has to watch one of my videos longer than the typical short-form videos to even qualify as a view. This is a shift from the 7-second quick hits or thirst traps from the past. To incentivize this, they're even paying creators like myself over 20 times more per view than the old system. People like me can now work our own hours and tell the stories that I want to tell. Here I have over 140,000 followers. And I have over 6 million views this month alone. Instagram, I put up the exact same stuff and get a fraction of that. Facebook, even less. Other platforms suppress, while TikTok gives me reach. And that's the big difference. Instagram promotes sponsored content and selected creators. TikTok pushes organic content the viewers pick. The fact that a Chinese company is the platform pushing organic free speech to the masses while still maintaining a quick hand on harmful content may at first seem ironic, but it also should tell you there's a lot more to the story than you're being told. Meta, like other apps, are willing to share its data for a price to anyone willing to pay the price. We've seen this in our previous elections. Everything we do on our phones is for sale now. And simply singling out one app to ban instead of creating a system to manage this new challenge is wrong, not within the free market, and very un-American. Here's what you're not being told about the upcoming TikTok ban. I'm a Seattle area